Spotty Phantom channel. What is happening? We are over here in Whitman at the VFW for the Lugnuts show here on August 3rd. It is hot. I'm sweating already, but I'm having super fun already. I already got to meet a friend of mine that I haven't seen in like 10 years. He has an amazing 89 GTR that'll be in this video. Check that out. We've got a little bit more in depth. He shares a little bit on that car, but there's some really cool classics here today. Happy to walk around and share them with you. Not a huge show, so like 100 maybe cars. So it'll be awesome that we can be able to go through and share quite a bit on a lot of the cars here. Hopefully get some great short videos. Thank you everybody. We hit 500 subscribers last week. We're up to like 508 already, so we're moving right along. We got to get to 1,000 to get the channel monetized. So if you have a friend you think that might like it, please have them subscribe. I appreciate all of you and enjoy the video today.
Yeah, this is my 1989 Nissan Skyline GTR. Has a GTR 34 RB26 swap. Generally the way you can tell is there's a space between the RB26 and the color code is going to either be that gold or red. So that's great because it avoids the ceramic twin turbos that come on the first and second gen. Also the oil pump issues, non-existent. Has a Haltech Elite 2500 running everything with the wideband controller, air temp sensor, map conversion, so ignore the ugly colors. It's got to get powder coated so it matches. Put in the Nismo Plenum this summer. HKS intercooler, coil rad radiator, top secret catch tank, just everything to keep it from grenading. Had the Brembo Big Rig kit put on. Not looking forward to changing those out. 18 by 10 Advance, yep. Clean, simple. Interior modifications, really, it's just slowly piecing everything together. The car is in kilometers, which isn't fun. I don't like doing math while I drive, so I use a GPS app.
There you go.
Nismo short shifter, pretty much OEM plus, really. The car confettis are incredibly comfy. Battery relocation, okay. Don't recommend it because you get a parasitic drain like you read about. But yeah.
Do you keep it on a battery tender all the time?
What's that?
Do you keep it on a battery tender all the time?
No, like right now the battery's just killed with power.
Gotcha.
And when I go home sometimes I'll just take the battery out, throw it on the charger, and call it a day.
And what's it like driving left-hand drive or right-hand drive around here, excuse me?
It's not bad. The only thing that's terrifying are left-hand turns and intersections because you're blind to what's happening in the far left lane. Sometimes I'll just sit there, people behind me, they don't beep, like I feel like they get it. Other than that, it's not bad. You get used to it really quick because your gears are all the same. The only thing that's different is your blinkers on the right side. So when you get in your daily driver, you're turning on your wipers and stupid crap like that.
Well, and you're shifting with your left hand though, right? Which is a little different. Yeah.
It is, but thankfully, depending on the transmission you get or the shifter you buy, like the shifter I had in the spring, so it automatically throws it in third and fourth really easily, so I rarely miss, you know what I mean?
Nice.
But yeah, you get used to it.
Well, this is very cool, guys, and I didn't really introduce Pat at the beginning. We used to work together like 15, 17 years ago, and we haven't seen each other probably in at least a decade, and we bumped into each other here, and he's always had this as his dream car. So to be able to kind of go through and share this with you, this is an awesome car. He's done an amazing job with it. He's super humble. He keeps saying, it's just a little bit OEM plus. This car's just super nice. He did all the work to import it in himself. And again, he talked about this like the Godzilla, right? This is kind of that legendary car. If you became a Fast and the Furious fan, this is kind of what started a lot of that JDM stuff. This is what got the ball rolling, right? This, and then obviously that next gen Supra were really what took it to the next level. So these cars were kind of that start of that, that Japanese car movement and the sports car movement to that next iteration, right? Because you think about the 300ZX that this would be competing against, or that generation Supra, let's just be honest, we're dogs. Like, they were not competing with this. They were not fast compared to what this was. Now, a lot of us think of that next-gen Supra, the next-gen RX-7, even that Mitsubishi 3000 GT and the all-wheel drive with the turbo was a different animal. But you gotta remember, this is a 1989, and in 89, this was wildly different, right? This was so far ahead of everybody else. And it really changed the whole way the whole game was for the Japanese tuner car scene, because the other manufacturers realizing to step up their game to be anywhere competitive what Nissan was doing, right? This was more competitive with what you'd see with like an Audi Quattro, which would be able to do some of that racing with the all-wheel drive and be just a different animal. And Audi changed the way the German cars did stuff, right? These guys were so revolutionary with the all-wheel drive, with the turbo. So this is a very cool car, and I'm happy to share Pat's car with you. It's just really cool. So thank you for sharing it with us. All right, guys, beautiful 1969 Chevy pickup. This one is modified like crazy. Fuel cell in the bed, side exhaust, big and littles. We actually looked at something like this last week. We saw the big rear wide Kragers, which I love. The big 454. This thing is awesome. It looks great. Love it in the red. Super clean under the hood. You can see, yeah, just everything nice. And you know what's nice is it's pretty simple under the hood too. Even when they added the motor swap in this, they kept it really simple. Looks great. Big aluminum radiator. I bet this thing's a fun car to drive. I wish I had to hear it come in. I think I missed it, but it looks great and actually an awesome truck. All right, guys, 1928 Ford Model A hot rod, high boy with a Chevy LT1, 40-year-old paint job, driven, not trailer. Love it. The paint actually still looks great on it. Maybe a little bit of patina, but not a lot. Kind of the old school wire wheels, which looks really cool on the hot rod. And this is that old school hot rod flame paint job, right? The oranges and yellows looks great in there. We got a little blue on the side with the yellow. You know, the tuck and roll interior. The wood dash with the simple gauge. This is a really neat old hot rod. And this is, again, something that I love because, again, this would be one you could feel like you go out and drive because the paint's nice, but it's not crazy. Like, you can go, again, take this out for a nice meal, enjoy it. Love the dual exhaust, kind of the trumpet style. This thing looks great. And then, again, the Bitchin' 28, very, very cool old hot rod. And I've become a big fan of these old hot rods. I've thought about getting a T-bucket for a while. This is kind of the next level beyond that. And this thing looks 1967 Mustang Fastback with a 521 motor in the blue and white with the GT 500 stripes, the knockoff wheels. This thing is beautiful. Look at this motor under the hood, super clean, Wildwood brakes. This thing is awesome with that big motor too. Interior's really nice, really clean inside. Again, one of the best body lines of any car ever made. This one has a nice stereo system. This is just a great hot rod that you can go out and enjoy that has that classic style, and it looks amazing. A lot of side exhaust cars here today, which I haven't seen a ton of recently. I'm glad we're seeing that. It just looks great, and it actually always sounds awesome with the side exhaust, so this is very cool. And I think I'm gonna shoot a little quick short on this one too, because it looks awesome. 1982 Ford Mustang GT. This was the first year the 5.0 had come back in. So in 81 and 80, they had done like the 4.2, the 255 cubic inch to deal with some of the gas stuff that they were dealing with. Ford kind of had this big advertising campaign for the 82. It said the boss is back. And it was the 5-liter with the bigger carburetor, you know, the TRX wheels. These are the aftermarket 16 inch. Factory would have been 14, but it was a metric measurement, and those tires are like $400 a piece, so they're super hard to come by. What I loved on this was the uniqueness of 82, right? You had the very unique fog lights that came on the GT, that hood scoop, the TRX wheels, the flow-through ventilation seats, which look great. I actually love these seats. I mean, this gives me, that again, a complete total 80s vibe. We talk about like that cockpit or jet fighter inspired gauge package they had in these 4-ride Foxes would start here. Again, Ford was going back to that line to try to give us more of that fastback line with these cars after the Mustang 2s, and this car would have been like super popular. The one difference I see on this, in 82 factory, this would have been a dual exhaust side by side, not separate on either side of the car. So that's the one thing I see on the car that looks a little outside of what it was. But this is an awesome 82, and again, this was this was a huge deal, guys. This is what started that whole 80s power muscle car revival, was this car, and you see all the Chevys and Pontiacs that would come afterwards that would follow in that, but this was the one that started the whole thing. Awesome 82 Fox Body. Just 1955 Chevy Bel Air in the red and white with a 350 manual transmission, Krager SS's. Firefighter looks like they own the car, so thank you, or at least someone supporting the firefighters. This car is awesome. Love the fuzzy dice, the red velour interior. This is like the epitome of 50s cool, and I love everything about it, right? We've got a Hurst shifter in it, the billet steering wheel, but you know, the factory style gauge in the front. They've added digital gauges in it, but they've left that same design, which looks great in these cars. And the 55 with the really subtle fins are some of my favorite. You know, I've been talking about body lines a lot, and you'll see a 57, which is much more pronounced, 56 as well. But I really like the subtlety of the 55, and it was that changeover. This one looks awesome in that color, and absolutely the right wheels with the Krager SS's on this, with the 350 and the manual. This is a very cool car. I tend to shoot my my neighbor anytime I go to a show, and this one's really nice. When the paint was out a little earlier, you could see it. This is a beautiful, like, candy apple with a ton of metallic in the paint. Again, the right Krager SS's, 383, super clean under the hood. I love the seats because this is a version kind of that houndstooth interior, but I like the bow tie emblem kind of embedded into the headrests. This one is an automatic with the bigger motor. That looks like a shifter from like a 3rd gen Camaro is my guess, but we still got the original style. Oh, this is perfect. So in the paint right now, you can see that metallic in it. This thing is stunning when the sun hits it. This thing looks awesome. So we're happy to share that with you. This thing is a beautiful car. And again, if you're gonna do these old hot rods, do them right and do the Kragers. And right next to it, we have the next gen Camaro. So we have this gorgeous Camaro. I want to say, I have to see the front. I think it's probably a 71. I haven't looked at it yet. It's a 70, so this will be the split bumper. Okay, so we've got the split bumper. This one has a blower in it. This is beautiful. Again, in the green with the white racing stripes. This has the more factory style wheels. This thing looks great. This thing is awesome, right? So a 406 with a 4-speed. What a beautiful car. What a nice collection of Camaros, right? So again, great separation, 69 to 70. We can see the difference. First gen on these just ran 3 years, right? 67 to 69. Then you go into this next generation from like 70 until 82. Some version of this style would run, right? Similar to what you had with the Corvettes, right? 68 to 84. This was similar here. The Camaro, they found a style that worked. These were wildly successful. These split bumpers do incredibly well, and this one looks amazing in this color. This is the color I think of, honestly, when I think of these like 70 split bumpers. This is the car. But these are all beautiful, and I wanted to share these two side by side because they look awesome. Love the next car up here. One of my favorite cars. In my family, we grew up as, especially on my dad's side, very big on the Pontiac side. My dad was a Pontiac and Chevy guy. My Uncle Bobby, my Uncle Danny loved Pontiacs. Uncle Danny was a Grand Prix guy. Uncle Bobby was a GTO guy. One of my first memories of riding a muscle car was like a 66 or 67 GTO. We were on the road. The straps for the gas tank broke. They fell off. The gas tank fell off on the road. We had to pop it in the trunk and run the gas line through the trunk. I still remember that to this day. It was a beautiful white GTO. Bobby's favorite was a 66. I love the 64s. I think there's something so pure about this first version. And when you see this one right here, the 4 headlights side by side, the 389 tri-power, so the 3 2-barrels in there. Awesome setup when you get it to work. Kind of finicky, but once you got it right, it was amazing. This one's great in that blue. Black Steelies with the dog dish hubcaps with the red line tires look absolutely perfect on this car. This one has a really simple interior, right? Bucket seats in the front, no console, turned aluminum dash, Pontiac wood wheel. This is just a beautiful 64 GTO that looks great all the way around. And again, one of my favorite body styles ever, and I think the car just looks amazing. Chevy was doing in 64, so right next to that beautiful GTO, we have a 64 Impala. This is a really pretty car in red. Again, when I think of an Impala, I think of them in red for these years. I think this one is so this is a 327, which were the most common motor in these, right? Looks great in there, that Chevy orange on the motor. Really nice air cleaner. Really nice setup, right? This one has the rally style wheels with the knockoff style center caps. Looks great on the car. And again, when you start to get into these, this is kind of the right style for this car. And you see that contrast to the GTO. Now, the Impala typically would have been considered a little bit more upmarket, a little more luxury at the time. The GTO would have been more performance. But you can see in here, this is, this is not the SS, so it does not have the SS gauges. It has the bar speedometer, really basic. The steering wheel looks great. I've always talked about the back seats. I love the back seats in these 60s Impalas. I love the setup in the middle with the Impala emblem. It just looks so right. And again, these wheels look great on the car. This is just an iconic style. And a lot of these were hot rodded or low rided. To see one that's very original like this is great. And this is a beautiful version of a 1964 Chevy Impala. We have a Hemi Roadrunner here, super rare in the white. This car is awesome. Again, the Magnum style, like 500 style wheels. I forget what they were calling them for the Mopar. Red line tires, the big 426 motor. This looks like it's actually a manual brake car. It's not a huge car, but these cars were good size and they were, they were heavy. So it's like a manual brake car. This is so it looks like actually is an automatic, very simple interior. These were, again, the Roadrunner was designed for the kids. These were the guys, if you wanted the more luxury, you buy the GTX. If you wanted the performance car, you bought the Roadrunner. This was the entry level to get a really cool, fast car. You could get it with a 318, 383, right? The big 426. These cars were designed to just be fun and fast and really inexpensive, and now they have a huge following. And I love this one with the vinyl top. I just think it feels right. Dodge was doing a lot of vinyl, or Chrysler was doing a lot of Plymouth, a lot of vinyl tops back then because the build quality, to be quite frank, wasn't great. And it was an easier way to fill for some of those seams they had, but this one is awesome. It looks great, and I love a road runner every time I see it. I think the body style is iconic. Beautiful 1964 Chevy Nova in like a very dark gray with a really nice subtle red pinstripe. Looks like it's a two-tone with a 327. Looks like it's got like the drag, the drag stars. It looks like it's a mini tub, full cage. Under the hood looks really nice, super clean. Love the suspension setup on the car. It looks great on here. The red interior looks great. This is a really clean 64, and it looks great inside and out. Like the gauges, you've got the racing seats. So this is a really nice car, and it was very cool to go through and share. And again, you see these little Novas were pretty tiny, right? You get right next to this Dodge right next to it, and you see how much smaller these were. These were not very big. You put these big motors in here and these big tires, and these things were great drag cars. Again, the side exhaust on it, this one looks great. That two-tone paint looks awesome on this car, and you can see it in the sun. Very pretty 64 Nova.
Oh yeah. So it's
guys, I've shot this one before, but I will hit it really quickly again. 71 Hemi Challenger, 526 Hemi in orange, Hemi billboard stripe, giant shaker hood. We're not going to go big, but beautiful car. Looks absolutely incredible, so I love the car. 81 Monte Carlo. This car was at Spindles last year. I don't know if I got a chance to shoot it, but I hope I did. I judged this car last year. This car is phenomenal. Big motor, so 468 with a 671 blower, all chrome. Everything on this car looks great. And what I like is they took the regular Monte, not the SS, right? Because the SS wouldn't come out till 84, but this looks amazing. Again, that red velour interior, which was so common back then. This one looks amazing in this car. The wheels are awesome. I mean, look at those giant tires on the back. Beautiful audio system, wheelie bars. Everything is nice on this car. And it just, this is a beautiful 81 Monte Carlo. So this would be the big body Chevy back then. 68 Caprice with the 427 with the big motor, rally sport wheels in the green, which was super common back there. You know, when you change from 67 to 68, that body style changed a little bit in the back, but I love the style on this one's really nice. Again, this is, the big block motor. It looks awesome under the hood. We've got the Chevy orange on the block, the chrome valve covers. Everything just looks great on this car, and cool interior. I love the old style, like shopping basket shifter, the bar speedometer, so just really a simple style. But it looks great in this, and again, this car is huge. When you see it, again, this is always fun for perspective. We have a little Beetle next to it, so I'll shoot them side by side so you can get a gauge. I'm gonna walk the Caprice, and then I'll walk into the Beetle, which is crazy, and then I'll walk to the end of the Beetle, and I'll still have room at the end of that Caprice, so you can get a size difference. Just a giant car with a big motor, but big luxury, big comfort, big power, awesome car. Guys, this is the club members car, so I figured I would just sit down quickly across the road because there's some really nice stuff here. That amazing hot rod at the end. I think that took best in show at Spindles last year. This gorgeous orange Nova. This beautiful Nova right next to it. I'm trying to get a gauge here with, I think it's black with my sunglasses on. I can't tell if it's like, I think it is. Let me get a little closer. No, I think it's actually a dark red. So very nice. Tri-5 Chevy. We got a Pro Touring Malibu with an LT1. We've got a 79 El Camino, 68 or 69 Chevelle, a really nice old hot rod, SS Camaro, sleeper Malibu, which were always fun. A Javelin right here, which is very cool. So this is awesome to see these guys down here. I just want to make sure they get their love. It's a lot of work to put a show on, and they deserve that recognition for the cool stuff they have up here. 2003 Mercury Marauder. This was basically the version of their, what Ford was doing to compete with like those mid-90s Impala SS's, and it was a tribute to the 60s Mercury Marauders. This was all blacked out, very similar to the Impala. This had the 4.6 300 horsepower, right? So this was pretty quick. Like I said, 302 horse, 355 rear end, and these were the 4.6. And again, this was a cool car. Now, I talked about this in one of my videos about like values, where I talked about the Impala SS's being a little overpriced and these being a little undervalued. I still feel this way, right? This still has a very much a sleeper vibe. Even now, 20 years later, this is still gonna give you that vibe of that undercover cop car, but it looked awesome. The wheels were great on it. Mercury was that upmarket brand, so really nice interior. This car new would have been 35 grand, but this was an upmarket interior, really nice gauges. all in the black with the chrome. So this is a really nice car. And again, super underrated and undervalued. One I love to share because I just don't think people appreciate what these cars were. And again, I would rather have this than that 94 to 96 Impala. I think it's more rare. It's definitely got better performance, right? We're 260 horse to 300, so 40 more horsepower, right? We're talking like 20% more power, and a car that looks great, and it's definitely a sleeper and super comfortable. Awesome car. First gen Firebird, 400, 4-speed in the blue, hood tack, Keystone Classics, which I think are iconic. You know, the obviously the Cragar SSs have kind of been the takeover, but man, if you went back to like the late 70s, early 80s, the Keystones were everywhere and they looked awesome. And this one looks great on this car. And again, it fits it so perfectly. Love the blue on this. Again, great for this era. Again, I talked about, you know, the 400. We were talking about the hood tack. So you have the tachometer in the hood so you can see it from when you're inside. 4-speed, super simple, right? Pontiac steering wheel, separate gauge cluster. This one's super nice in that blue. This one looks great. I love it from the back, again, with that simple 400 badge and that Firebird badge. Looked awesome on these cars. Pontiac always had some great badging on their cars, and this one's really pretty. All right, I love the rear window of this 67 SS here. This is a gorgeous car in the maroon, but I love the flag on the back. Again, Cragar SS's, wider in the back, skinny's in the front. This one has a blower on it. This one is an automatic. It has, looks like probably a Grant steering wheel with that SS cap. Looks like newer bucket seats, but really nice. Love it under, you know, this is a good fun hot rod, right? Under the hood is set up for functionality. Looks great. The dual 4 barrels right on the high-rise intake. Just looks great and a really cool car. And then you have a beautiful, more factory version right next to it in the blue with the 327. And I like both of them. I think they both look awesome. Very cool cars. Both have the Cragar SSs. And again, you now see the more factory version versus the hot rodded version. But like I said, I think they both look great. I have a beautiful steel bumper Corvette. This is a 1972, so the last of the steel bumpers. On both the front and the back. This one with the Rally Sport wheels, 350. I like this color combo though. I like the red with the white interior. It looks great. And again, T-top car. Tops are off, which they always should be in these cars. And this one is a manual, so a little more unusual. You know, the earlier versions of these, the manual is more common, but these both look great. This is a really good looking C3 with this dual bumpers. Looks awesome. And I think we're going to get to hear this 400 Firebird start up, which we saw earlier. I saw the owner just get in, so maybe he'll start it up. We can get an idea how it sounds. Like I said, I love the Keystones on it. I think this is a very cool car. So this one's right next to that Corvette. We shot this one just a little while ago, so let's see if we can hear this bad boy fire up. All right. So very nice early gen fire. A couple of really cool cars right here. Some old hot rods. We have that beautiful Dart Swinger. We have this really nice 442, really cool 1940s hot rod, and then we have two C2 Corvettes right here, one coupe, one convertible. The convertible has the side exhaust and the knockoff wheels. We have the Rally Sport wheels and the Redline tires on the coupe. Both of these are beautiful. They both look awesome, manual and manual, both very cool. So we do have a couple of different years, and like we talked about, you can see the fins are a little different. This is a 396 car with that modified Stinger hood scoop. Looks great. And this is a 327 car, so both beautiful. Both have the side pipes, both look awesome. So you know I love sharing these cars with you guys. All right, guys, in the interest of always doing something different and unique, 1928 Pontiac Coupe. I've seen the Fords, I've seen the Chevys, but Pontiacs are rare. This one is cool. Again, I love an orange. I love orange, love a hot rod. Check out the monster tires on this thing. It is ridiculous. Love the style on it, but I love the color. Definitely, you know, powered by Pontiac, super cool. This one's actually for sale for 25 grand. It's a 389 Pontiac motor. How cool is this? The phone number's right there. This thing is awesome. And again, look at those wheels. Just absolutely crazy on this car. That super short rear end. The dual exhaust still has the green plate. This thing is very, very cool. And again, I have not seen one before. So to see an old Pontiac like this is awesome. Now, another very cool hot rod up here is this orange Factory 5. You're good, no worries. This is a very cool car. This one had a Hemi motor put into it. So that's a very unique. Again, most of these I see have a Ford motor or most likely a Chevy 350, some type of an LS, but a very, very cool factory 5, 33 hot rod. So most people think of the factory 5 for the Shelbys. Factory 5 made an awesome version of these hot rods. I was just talking to a buddy of mine. I said, this is what the Prowler should have been, right? Hemi V8, very cool car, big and littles. This thing, the only thing on this that's crazy to me is how low this is. Like, how the heck do you drive that? That chop is so low on this, I couldn't even imagine. Like, you got to be slunk way down to drive that car. And this one is actually a manual too, which is crazy, right? You're driving a manual. This thing's got to be super tight to drive, but it looks absolutely awesome, and it's a very cool car. All right, everybody. I forgot to shoot an outro, so thank you for checking out the video today. Awesome show over there with the Lugnuts in Whitman at the VFW. Great turnout. Probably maybe 100 cars, but a lot of great conversations, a lot of awesome people I got to talk to. So for everyone I got to meet again today and talk to, thank you as always. Thank you for checking out the channel. We've grown like 20 people in the last week and a half, which is awesome. So I thank you all. Continue to pass this on to other folks. I appreciate all your support. I hope you have an amazing day. And like always, please hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk real soon. Thank you all so much.